Hi, in this video, we will see all the Lizkook hints in Jungkook's solo song MV, standing next to you. Let's see all the hidden secrets of this masterpiece. As you know, the female lead in Jungkook's solo song was Pasha Harulia. She is a foreign model, not Korean, with brown short hair and bangs. We can understand that this model could very easily represent Lisa, since Lisa is also foreign and she herself had short brown hair with her iconic bangs. Please tell me the differences between these two persons. Yes, they were different persons. And have in mind that Lisa is the only famous girl romantically associated with Jungkook that ever had brown short hair and bangs at the same time. Does this intro remind you of something? A girl walking, showing us her back, wearing a jacket, with large shoulders and short hair. Well, not only that, but in this particular scene of Lisa's solo song, she says, "You know, just from looking at my back." So it's like Jungkook tried to do a little trick, where the model looked like Lisa, from behind, so people will assume it's her. Now about the details in the set, we can see a red line in the ground, since the beginning of the MV. We see the model, Lisa, walking normally in direction to the sun. But then we have Jungkook, who start following the model, unintentionally following the red line. If you don't know, a red line represents the fate or destiny. It says, two people connected by the red line mean they are destined lovers. It's a magical cord that may stretch or tangle, but never break. In other words, soulmates. So it's like Jungkook is trying to represent Lizkook love story and how fate made Jungkook walk towards Lisa unintentionally. If you didn't notice, all of this happens in a tunnel. Well, I thought, why? Why would they film this in a tunnel? And then I connected everything. Jungkook was representing his love story with Lisa, two big idols, who live in an industry where dating is considered a scandal. In other words, their entire story took place in a tunnel, that is, without anyone knowing, always in secrecy, always underground. Of course, also representing the suffocation they went through, having to always be hidden, since, like in tunnels, there are no windows for us to breathe, like they felt. It's so crazy to see how a simple jacket hides so much hints. So let's start. The first one is obvious, because this jacket is very similar to one that Lisa used for a private Blackpink party after Coachella. But not only that, in the jacket we can see a daffodil, which is Lisa's birth flower. Also, a edelweiss, which is Lisa's favorite flower, which is also one of her tattoos. And lastly, we have the iconic eye, which could represent the eye tattoo that Jungkook did of Lisa's eye. In this small clip, we can see the female lead using an outfit and doing a pose very similar to one of Lisa's Crazy Horse performance. The outfit is black and have some see-through, and the pose, the same positioning of the leg and arm. Not to mention that the lighting is exactly the same. If you think the use of black and white outfits was just a coincidence, think again. This is because it is not coincidence that in the video clip, Jungkook appears in black and even with devil wings, while the woman, Lisa's representative, appears in white in some parts. Did you notice that, in every scene of this video clip, Jungkook was always wearing black? In other hand, did you also notice that the model wore black in the first scenes, then white, and returned to black on the end of the MV? Well, I did, and this is my theory. As you know, Lizkook meet before Lisa's debut, probably by Bam Bam, Jungkook 97 line friend and Lisa's best friend. That means this video clip would be representing the 3 phases of Lizkook love story. The tunnel part was their beginning, hidden from fans and even the companies. Here, both Jungkook and the girl wear black, which, by the use explicit of devil wings, from Jungkook's perspective, black here would mean the temptation that is often led by the devil, which tries to lead us to our desires without thinking about the consequences of that actions. In the first scenes, we can see by both faces expressions that both were feeling something very intense. That explains the heavy makeup the girl is wearing and black leather, which is something that bring a heavy and intense aura. But then we have the second phase, and the most difficult, when they both started meeting at awards shows, and later having to come out to both companies. Here we see that the girl begins to have some moments in which she wears black and white, demonstrating her insecurity and fear of being in a company that had explicit rules against dating, when she at the same time wanted to be in this relationship. Her makeup when she wears white is super light, giving a soft aura, like she is a fragile girl, something we can see through the very delicate touch that Jungkook makes when he caresses her cheek. Jungkook, on the other hand, stays with the black with rigid movements and intense facial expressions, with a fierce look. And finally, the last phase would be after all the storm, that is, currently, where both are determined to continue, regardless of other people's opinions, their relationship. Hence the use of black again. Jungkook continues, while the girl's 100% return to black means that YG's or haters' opinions no longer affect her. Something that perfectly corresponds to Lisa's mentality, who, despite the criticism, decided to participate in Crazy Horse, focusing on what makes her happy. Hence the last scene is an intense look between the two, with both wearing black. Just a PS, explaining why Jungkook uses the devil wings. Because unlike Lisa, who had a phase of uncertainty and fear due to her company and her early status as an idol, Jungkook always felt that intense feeling, being led by his devil who pressured him to pursue his desire to fight for this relationship, something that in this industry is seen as a sin. Here the devil's wings do not represent a negative thing, since it was thanks to them that, at the end of it all, they both continued to wear black, to be happy. Because if they had been led by the white side, what they consider good and pure in K-pop, they would never have been truly happy. Yes, Jungkook also decided to make the first public time he saw Lisa at an award show, very explicit in the MV. If you don't remember, the first time Lizkook saw each other publicly was at the Asian Artist Awards in 2016. First, let's look at how the event was like. As we can see, there was individual red seats facing the stage. And guess what? This was Jungkook's scene and standing next to you. As you can see, we also have the red seats directed towards the stage. And we have more. Please look closely to this girl in particular. Doesn't remind you of somebody? Let's get back to the Asian Artist Award of 2016 and see how Lisa was in this event. I'm sorry, but it does remind you of her. The funny part was Lisa giving a spoiler about this scene when she posted some photos in the Crazy Horse room. We can see the individual red seats while Lisa is in the audience. This last look reminded me a lot of Lisa's scene with Taeyang in the music video for their collaboration song, Shung. So this is the last topic I will talk about, the storyline. And having in mind everything I said before, it's kinda easy to get everything. So we started in the tunnel, with Jungkook following Lisa and starting their love story. Here we can conclude it was Jungkook who started following Lisa and was the one interested first. However, we can see in this first scene that was actually Lisa who saw Jungkook first. Something that makes sense since Jungkook debuted in 2013, while Lisa only debuted in 2016. And opening the car window means exactly that. Jungkook was already walking around to everybody see when Lisa saw him for the first time, while she was a trainee, still hidden from the public. Next, we have the scene where Jungkook is dancing in the stage, where everything is perfect, with the perfect lighting. The dance is very well executed, with sexy movements and perfect vocals, like BTS's Jungkook is known for having in all his performances. But then Lisa arrives, and she starts watching Jungkook performing on stage, and guess what? The curtain fell, and a large hole appears beneath it. As a metaphor for the fact that when Lisa appears, he remembers that what seemed perfect before is not, since he will never be able to reveal his relationship with her to the public. For the first time, we were able to realize how fragile and unstable the structure of the stage is, despite it initially appearing to be in perfect condition. And if we look very carefully, this hole progressively becomes darker and darker. Now, during his performance, now that Lisa is watching, Jungkook seems to only care about her, like he is focusing only on her. Because, even with her far away, comparing with other persons that are closer to the stage, his eyes are only looking at her, like she was in a pedestal, which here is compared with a limousine. During this whole process, like I said before, Lisa was really insecure and sad, while wearing white and soft makeup. That made Jungkook mad, because YG was trying to make Lisa end their relationship, even against her will. Again, hard facial expressions and rigid movements. That's why, in the next scene, we see Jungkook caressing Lisa's cheek, comforting her. But then we get to the most intense part, where the persons who came with Lisa, YG's staffs, and the persons who came from the stage side, Jungkook's side, start fight each other. This could represent YG and Hybe fight because of Lizkook in the first years of them dating, because as we know, these two companies were rivals at the time. At the time this fight is happening, notice that Jungkook is still performing and Lizkook is still looking at each other. It's like they don't care. The fact that they hadn't given up on being together and didn't care, especially Jungkook, made the fight ended. But suddenly, we have a moment that we think Lisa gave up and decided to go with YG staffs because she is not longer on top of the limo and all the Limonizes are leaving. The hole also turned almost completely black, representing the anguish and sadness when Jungkook thought she had truly given up on them. Look at the stage structure appearing completely. But then Lisa appeared in black again, so she didn't leave like YG wanted. And she and Jungkook meet after his performance. With an intense look, almost like they were going to kiss each other, representing what they feel for each other and how deeply in love they were and are. Well guys, this was the end of another video. This took me so long to make, so please don't forget to subscribe and like my video. Also, if you have any more interesting ideas or topics for new videos, please leave them in the comments. Thank you so much for the amazing support that everyone is giving me. I love you guys. Goodbye.